Creso Schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso Schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso Schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso Schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso Schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our...
Good afternoon, learners. Welcome back to our GMF online school. Okay, and this GMF online school is operated by 3 schools, which is the G stands for GOCA, which is Gospel Outreach Christian Academy. This school is located at GOCA or at the Go Center, which is opposite Movie TV. So this school is a day school, and it is from baby school to grade 12, and the M stands for Mobuyu Christian Academy. So this school is in Siavonga, and it goes from grade 8 to grade 12, and F stands for Fountain Gate Christian Academy, and this school is a boarding school. It goes from baby class to grade 12. Okay, so you can enroll your child under these schools at any school under this, okay, depending on where you are located. Okay, we have been looking at equations and inequations, and in the previous lessons we looked at linear equations and how to solve linear equations or equations with the one variable. So last time I gave you some questions as homework. So for the homework which I gave you, here are the answers. So for the first question, which was 4x plus 3 over 5 is equal to negative 9. The value of x is negative 12. And for the second question, 2x minus 3 over 7 is equal to 2x plus 3 over 5, the value of x is negative 9. And for the third one, 3 over 2x minus 1 over 15 is equal to 1 over x. So the value of x here is 15 over 2, or we can say, so this is 7, 1 over 2. So 7, 1 over 2 or 15 over 2 is just the same. Okay, then the fourth one is x plus 3 over 2 is equal to x plus 1. So the value of x is positive 1. Okay, now I looked at the comments and most of you complained on question 3. So we'll first start by looking at this question, then we'll go on to today's lesson. So for this question, 3 over 2x minus 1 over 15 is equal to 1 over x. So we said you use the lowest common multiple. You use the lowest common multiple. So for the denominator you have 2x and you have 15. So for the lowest common multiple, I said you just multiply the two numbers which you have. So here we have 2x and 15. So for us to find the lowest common multiple, we just say 2x times 15. So the 2x times 15, that is, it will give us 30x. So 2x times 15, that is 30x. Okay, now the next step, so this 2x goes into 30x, how many times? So it will go 15 times. So we should say 15 multiplied by the numerator, which is 3. So we'll have 45. Okay, then the next one we have 15. So 15 goes into 30x 2x times. So we'll say 2x multiplied by 1. So here we'll have 2x. So is equal to 1 over x. Okay, so at this stage now we have 45 minus 2x over 30x is equal to 1 over x. Okay, now for this one, at this stage you can simply cross multiply, and when we cross multiply we are going to have 45 minus 2x over 30x is equal to 1 over x. Then we cross multiply like this. So meaning that this x is going to multiply, is going to be multiplied by 45 and also by 2x. Then 30x by 1. So we are going to have, so 45 times x, that is 45x, then minus 2x times x, so that is 2x squared. Then we'll say is equal to 30x times 1. This is 30x. So what we have is 45x minus 2x squared is equal to 30x. Okay, so when you look at this, so you have 45x, so this, it is just a single x, and this x has been squared, and this side you have a single x. So we can have this with the single x, the same side, and the one with a square on x, the other side. So we can say 45x, then we bring this 30. So since it is positive, it will be negative. So this is 30x. So this is 2x squared. So 45x minus 30x. So this will give us 15x is equal to 2x squared. Okay. So at this stage now, x squared. So you can divide by 1x. So what I mean is, you have 15x over x and 2x squared. So this will be over x. So for this 15x, then the other side, then over x. So since we have 2x for the numerator, so we can divide 1x. So this x divided by this one, so we are just going to remain with it 2 times x. So meaning that what we have is 15 is equal to 2x. Okay, now at this stage we can leave, or we can calculate the value of x when we divide both sides by 2. So dividing both sides by 2, so we'll say, so this side over 2 and this side over 2. So this will be 2 divided by 2. So we are just going to remain with it x. And the other side, what we have is 15 over 2. Okay, so the value of x becomes 15 over 2. So like I said, for the third question, the value of x is 15 over 2. So this is the method which you have to use when dealing with such a question. Okay, let's move on to today's lesson, which is the inequations. We look at the inequations. So today we should know how to deal with inequations, and this inequation are in one variable. So inequations okay, so inequations, so you can also use another term for inequation. You can even say inequalities. So inequation or inequalities. Okay, now what are these inequations? What are they all about? So inequations or inequalities, these are just simply statements. Okay, they are just statements where two sides are not equal. So statements where two sides are not equal. So for inequations, so let me just write this. So inequations or inequalities are statements where two sides are not equal. So where two sides are not equal. So for inequations or inequalities, we normally use symbols to represent that the two sides are not equal. So let's just look at the symbols used under inequations or inequalities. So symbols used. Okay, so the first one. So this symbol is, we say this is greater than. Okay, then the next one is this symbol, which is called less than. Okay, then the third one, we have this symbol. So this symbol is greater or equal to. So this is greater or equal to, and the other symbol is this one. So this is less or equal to. So this is less or equal to. So these are the four symbols which we normally use under inequations. Okay, so for inequations, there's one thing which you have to observe when calculating the inequations. So each time when you are multiplying or dividing one side of the inequation with a negative, you have to change the sign. You have to change the sign on the inequality. So what I mean is, okay, let me first write this. So when multiplying or dividing one side of the inequality by a negative. Okay, so you have to reverse the inequality sign. Okay, so you have to reverse the inequality sign. Now, what do we mean by reversing the inequality sign? Okay, so let's just take, for instance, you have negative 4x, then we say less or equal to 12. Okay, negative 4x is less or equal to 12. Okay, now here what we want to find is the value of x. Okay, and what you have, you look at the coefficient which you have, so it is a negative number. Okay, so finding the value of x, we are supposed to divide this negative number by a negative number, which is just 4x. So we will say this will be divided by 4, and the other side will say divided by 4. Okay, so negative 4 divided by 4, we are going to have just this x. Okay, now the other side, 12 divided by negative 4, the result is negative 3. Okay, now this is where I said that when you divide one side of the inequation using a negative number, you're supposed to reverse the inequality sign. So reversing the inequality sign, So since here you have a less or equal to, okay, so when reversing this, it should be a greater or equal to, so meaning that the sign will be in this form. So x is greater or equal to -3. So this is what we mean by reversing. So in a situation where you maybe at first you have a greater than, so when you divide using a negative number, so the greater than, you have to reverse the greater than and it will be a less than. So this is what we do under the inequalities. So let's just look at some of the examples under the inequalities. So the examples, okay, so find the solution of each of the following inequations. Okay, so the first one is 2x minus 5 less than 3. Then the second one is -3x then minus 4 is greater or equal to -7. Then the third one is 9x plus 8 less than 12. Then the fourth one is 4 multiplied by 2x minus 20 then less or equal to 107 minus 3x. Okay, so we are going to look at the 4 questions as examples. So here we are saying that find the solution of each of the following equations. So we first start with the first one. So for the first one, what we have is 2x minus 5 less than 3. 2x minus 5 less than 3. So let's work out this. So for the first one, we are saying that 2x minus 5 less than 3. Okay. So like we did for the linear equations, okay, we are going to do the same even for this. So the same method. So what we have, if you look at the left hand side, so we have 2x then minus 5. Then the right hand side, so this is just 3. So what we are going to do here is we should collect the like terms. So what we have is 2x, then collecting the like terms. So here we maintain the sign, which is the less than sign. So then this will be 3. Then when -5 crosses the inequality sign, it will be +5. So this is +5. Okay, so for this, it's just the same like for when you have maybe 2x then minus 5 is equal to 3. So we said when this -5 crosses the equal sign, it should change its sign to positive. So since it is negative, so the sign should change to positive. So it's just the same even under equations. So when this -5 crosses the inequality sign, it should change its sign. So this is now 2x less than 3 plus 5. So 2x less than 3 plus 5. So adding the 2, what we are going to have is 8. Then we say less than, this is 2x. So at this stage, you can simply divide this or both sides by 2. So this is 2, this side and we have 2. Now when you look at the number which we are using to divide, it is a positive number. So since it is a positive number, we are supposed to maintain the sign. So since the number is positive, we should maintain the sign. So 2 divided by 2, so we are going to have just x. Then so this will be less than 8 divided by 2, that is 4. So this is x have is 3, so meaning that the value or there the x is less than 4, so x is less than 4 in the first equation. Let's move on to question 2. So for question 2 we have negative 3x minus 4 greater or equal to negative 7. Negative 3 minus 4 greater or equal to negative 7. So when you look at this, you have this negative 3. So this 3 has got this variable which is x. Okay, and this you have a constant which is negative 4. So we should collect the like terms. So this will be negative 3x. So we'll maintain the sign at this stage, and when this negative 4 crosses this sign, it will be a positive the other side. So this will be a positive 4. Then you have this negative 7, so you maintain the negative 7. So this is just simply to say negative 3x is greater or equal to 4 minus 7. So this side you have negative 3x greater or equal to 4 minus 7, it will give you negative 3. So what you have at this stage is negative 3x greater or equal to negative 3. Okay, so what we want to find, or the value which we want to find, is for this x. So we should divide with the coefficient. So the coefficient is a negative number. So this is negative 3, and this the other side divided by negative 3. So when you would divide this side, we are going to have x. Okay, and this side you have negative 3 divided by negative 3, giving us a positive 1. Okay, now for the sign, you look at the sign, you look at the left hand side. Which number did you divide or multiply? So here we divided this negative 3 using this negative 3. Okay, so when you look at the number which we have used is a negative number, so we should change or we should reverse the sign. So here this sign is a greater or equal to, so reversing this sign, it will be less or equal to. So what we mean is, so the final answer is x less or equal to positive 1. X is less or equal to positive 1. Okay, let's move on to the third one. Okay, let me just erase this part. Okay, so in 3 we are saying that 9x plus 8 is less than 12. 9x plus 8 is less than 12. So this, we should collect the like terms. So this will be 9x, then less than 12, then since this is positive 8, it will be negative 8. So this is 9x less than, so 12 minus 8, that is 4. Okay, then at this stage, so we should divide both sides by 9. So dividing this side, we are going to have x, and then we maintain the sign since the number which we have used to divide is a positive number. So this will be just 4 over 9. So for the third one, x is less than 4 over 9. Okay, let's look at for the last one, which is the part 4. So for 4 multiplied by 2x minus 20 less or equal to 107 minus 3x. Okay, so at this stage we can just multiply this 4 by 2x and also by 20. So 4 times 2x, we are going to have 80x. Okay, so this is 8x, then 4 times negative 20, that is negative 80. Okay, then less or equal to 107 minus 3x. So at this stage now we can collect the like terms. So we have this negative 3 and you have this positive 80x. Then you have got negative 80 and you have got the constant the other side, which is 107. So we can say 8x. Then, so since this 3x is negative, so it will be positive. So this will be 8x plus 3x. Then we say less or equal to, then the constants, you have 107. Then this 80 is negative, so it will be positive. So that is 80. Okay, then adding the two, this side you are going to have 11x, then less or equal to, so adding the two again the other side, you are going to have 187. Okay, so that is 187. So what we have now is we have 11x is less than or equal to 187. 11x is less or equal to 187. So we can now divide both sides by 11. So 11 divided by 11, so we're going to have just x. Then since the number which we have used is a positive number, so we'll just maintain the sign. So this is less or equal to, so 187 divided by 11, we are going to have 17. Okay, so x is less or equal to 17. So for 187 divided by 11, so the value is 17. So you can prove this when you say 17 multiplied by 11. So when you are multiplying any number, so for a number which has got 2 digits, so you should just say you write the 1 and the 7 the other side, then you leave a space. So for the space which you are going to leave, you just add now the two numbers which you have, 1 and 7. What is 1 plus 7? That is 8. So this is 187. So 187 divided by 11, it will give you 17. So this is how you should deal with the inequalities. So when you divide or multiply the side or one side of the inequality with a negative number, you should reverse the sign. So what we mean is, if at first you had a less than, then the final answer should have a greater than sign. Okay, so having looked at these examples, let me just give you some questions which you are going to answer as the homework. Okay, so for these you should find the solution set. So find the solution set for each of the following inequations. Okay, so the first one is 3x minus 4 less or equal to 8. Then the second one, you have 3x minus 4 greater or equal to 8. Then the third one, 2x minus 3 less than 11. Then the fourth one is just x plus 3, then less than, or this is, okay, so x plus 3 are greater than positive 4. So these are the 4 questions which I want you to solve as the homework. Okay, so you should just do the same like we have done for the previous examples. Okay, I've been your teacher, Mr. Chizia Pius. Till we meet next, goodbye and have a good afternoon.
Schools, Moboyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Mobuyu Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment.
Good afternoon, learners. My name is Mrs. Lungu. Today I'll be teaching grade 9 home economics. Grade 9 home economics. And our topic for today will be looking at reproductive health. Reproductive health. Okay. Economics. So our topic is reproductive healthy. Okay? So we'll write reproductive health. Okay, so this topic will look at puberty, we'll look at the boys and girls, their development, the physical development that appears when someone is growing up. Okay, so puberty signs and what is this puberty? How can we define it? Okay, we are supposed to know how to define puberty. So we say puberty is the period which marks the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood. Okay, the change or the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood. That's puberty. So let us write. Okay. Puberty is the end of childhood and the beginning okay, of adulthood. Okay. Adult. Okay, so this is the end of childhood. When we say childhood, we say all manners that one had before that person reached adulthood. Okay. Then adulthood, it's a term that means someone is now a grown-up person or mature person. Okay, so that's the definition of puberty. We've said puberty is the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood. Okay, now there are some physical changes that occur during this stage. There are some physical changes that occur during this stage. Now, physical, it means things that change, the things that we see, maybe our nose, the mouth, the hips, the height, the size of the body. Those are physical changes. Now, we are supposed to know them, okay? So what are these physical changes during this stage in boys? And what are these physical changes during this stage in girls also? Okay, so we are going to list some of the physical changes. And the same changes will show us that someone is no longer in that era of childhood changes. Okay? Right, physical changes. Physical changes. We'll start with boys. Okay. So there are physical changes that occur in boys as well as in girls. Now, we'll look at these physical changes that normally occur in boys when they reach that stage. So the first one we're going to look at is the hair grows around the pubic area and the armpit. Okay, so there is the growth of hair right here, growing in the pubic, okay, in the pubic area. Okay, as well as in the armpits and chest. Okay. And chest. Okay, so that's the first physical change that we can see, that this boy is no longer a child. Okay, you see that that boy, they've started hair growth in the pubic area. The pubic area there, it means the private parts. The boys will start having hair, even in the armpits as well as the chest. Okay, then the second one is the testes and the penis increase in size. Okay, those are the physical changes in boys. So the second one is the testes and the penis. Okay. Okay, so the testes and the penis will increase. The penis, okay, will increase in size. Okay, all those are physical changes in boys. So the second one saying there is an increase in size of the private part, which is the penis and the testes of the boys. Then again, they're saying the voice breaks and it deepens. Okay, the voice becomes deep. Okay, the voice. Okay, the voice breaks and deepens. Deepens. Okay. There, what it means is that you no longer hear any boy talking like as if that he is still a toddler, but you'll be able to tell in the tone of their voice that this one, I think, he's now a grown-up person because of the voice. Okay. Then the shoulders, the broaden. The shoulders broaden. Okay. They become muscular. So the shoulders broaden. Shoulders broaden. Okay. They increase in size also. Then another thing is boys begin having wet dreams. Okay. Boys begin to have wet dreams. Okay. Now, what are these wet dreams? We are supposed to know them. Mind you, this is home economics under health education. So we are looking at the reproductive health. Okay. Now, we are looking at the physical changes that occur during puberty. So we've looked at the boys, they start having wet dreams. Okay, when they are fast asleep, they find that when they wake up early in the morning, their beddings are wet because of the dreams that they were having and because of the changes in their bodies. Okay, so that's what it means. All right. Then again, another change in boys is that sudden increase in height and in weight. Okay, increase in height. Increase in height, and weight. Okay, you find someone used to be very short and very thin, but after reaching this puberty stage, they begin to increase in height as well as weight. Okay, why weight? Because this is the time where they become very active, and for them to be very active, they need a lot of energy. So by so doing, you find that even their appetite, it is being stimulated, and that it leads them to eat too much. And at the end, you find that they increase in weight. Okay, so those are some of the physical changes that occur in boys. Okay, there could be many, but these are the major ones that we normally see in their physical changes. Okay, now what about in girls? How can we know that this girl is no longer a child? Is no longer crying for the parents or the big sisters, the friends, or having the tantrum for the babies, crying for the things they want? Okay, now what are the things that we can identify that this girl, she is no longer a child? So also here we are going to look at the physical changes in girls. Okay, physical changes in girls. So write girl there. Okay, physical changes in girls. So hair grows also in their pubic areas. Okay, hair grows in their pubic areas. They also hair growth in the pubic areas. Okay, which includes the armpit as well as the private parts. They do have hair. Okay, in pubic areas. Okay, then again, they do have the enlargement, the breast, or the breast enlarge. Okay, the breast enlarge. Okay, you find even when walking, the girls they always shun away. Instead of them walking upright, you find them, they even bend down like this when walking. Why? Because of the development of the breast. Okay, some girls, they don't even accept it, but others, they do accept it with excitement. Okay, all right, then the other change in girls is the waist becomes distinct and hips increase in size. Okay, they do have hips. Hips increase in size. Okay, and you'll be able to see the demarcation that this is a girl because of the hips, and you can even tell that this girl is now an adult, or you see even the behavior changes. Okay, then again, they start their menstrual periods. Okay, those are the physical changes in girls. Okay, start of menstrual. Okay, a start of menstrual period. Okay, then again, there is a marked increase in weight. Also, the increased weight. Okay, the increased weight or the increase in weight. The increase in weight. Okay, all those are the physical changes in girls. Okay, so in both boys and girls, the glands in the armpits becomes active during this period, resulting in more sweating. Okay, so to prevent odor, it is advisable to shave the hair in the armpits. Okay, so because of the growth and the changes that they normally pass through, the boys and the girls, you find that they are always active, and for them to be like that, it means they should have a lot of food, a lot of activities, and when they do have a lot of activities, it will result in them to have more sweating, and sometimes the sweat, it can be in a very bad odor. They can be producing sweat which has got very bad odor. Okay, and such odors are supposed to be prevented. Now, how are we going to make sure that our girls and our boys, they prevent that odor through sweat in their bodies? Okay, so now we are going to look at good hygiene during puberty. Good hygiene during puberty. Okay, so these are the things that girls and boys should do in order to avoid some of these bad odors. Okay, now good hygiene is an integral part of grooming, especially during puberty. So the following habits facilitate good hygiene during puberty. Okay, so we are going to write good hygiene. Okay, during puberty. Good hygiene during puberty. Okay. So now, what are these things that are expected from both girls and girls? So these are the things that are very important, boys and girls, that we're supposed to put into practice. If we try to shun away from them, then our puberty stage, it will be something where we are going to be finding ourselves, if you're in a situation whereby you're in the presence of different people, people will be able to tell, that one has come. Why? Because of that bad odor. Okay, so we need to take care of ourselves. Very, very, very important. Now, good hygiene during puberty. What are the things that we are supposed to facilitate for us to be acceptable in our society, or to be appreciated? Okay, so now we are going to look at the things that we are supposed to do. Okay, so we are supposed to bath. Okay, boys and girls, bath once or twice a day using toilet soap and warm water. Okay, bath. Okay, bath twice. Okay, you bath once or twice. Once or twice a day. Okay, now that it's very cold, as boys and girls in this stage of puberty, we should make sure that we bath, no matter how cold the weather is. We should make sure we bath once or twice a day so that our bodies are always fresh. Okay, now what are the things that we are supposed to use when bathing? We should use toilet soap, warm water, even cold water. It's advisable to bath. Even if it's very cold like this, cold water, it's very, very advisable to bath. Okay, all right, so bath once or twice a day. Then after that, you wear clean clothes. Okay, always wear clean clothes. Okay, then clean clothes, you're supposed to iron them. Make sure that they're washed and ironed and washed clothes. Okay, so the clothes include the pants and the socks. Now let us look at the the pants or the underwear. Okay, we are supposed to take care of them. Immediately you are from bathing, you wash, and after washing, you rinse it. When you rinse, please, you hang it where there is direct sunlight, okay? And avoid putting on wet underwear, because even such, they can make us to have a very bad odor, okay? Then again, use good quality of cosmetics, okay? Use good quality of cosmetics. Okay, now what are these cosmetics? We're supposed to know them, okay? They're saying use good quality of cosmetics and use them skillfully, okay, for our bodies. Now, what are these cosmetics, okay? So we'll look at them after having listed the things which are expected for us to take care of ourselves, okay? Then again, they're saying you brush teeth every day after every meal, okay? We brush our teeth, so brush, okay? Brush the teeth every day and each meal. Okay, so make sure that we brush our teeth every day and after each meal, okay, so that we even prevent our mouth to be having a very bad smell, okay? Then again, boys should keep their hair short, okay, and always comb it. If you can't comb your hair, at least you do what they call potato cut. You remove the hair completely, okay? So boys should comb, okay? Boys should keep the hair short and smart, okay? For the boys. And girls should always plait or comb their hair, okay? Girls should always comb or plait their hair, okay? Let's hope you are following. All right, then another thing for our personal hygiene is during menstrual, girls should always change sanitary towels or sanitary pads, okay? During menstrual period, girls should change sanitary pads, okay, so that they should not produce a very bad odor, okay? So these are the very, very important points, okay, both boys and girls. All right, then the last one is that girls and boys should always shave. For the boys, they should shave their beards and pubic areas. The girls, they should make sure that they shave their pubic areas, okay? So right, shaving, okay, so that we look and smell good, okay? Now, having listed all the good hygiene points on our both the girls and the boys during puberty, now we are going to see if we do not follow this, what happens to us. That's our last point, okay? What happens to us? But before that, let us look at the examples of cosmetics, okay? So cosmetics are things that help us to enhance our outlook, okay? You find that if I'm from Bathi, what am I going to apply on my skin? Okay, so the examples of cosmetics are the soap that we use, the lotions that we use, okay, the perfumes, the powder, all those fall under cosmetics. And mind you, some of the cosmetics, they can bleach our skin. So we have to be very, very careful and skillful to make sure that the cosmetics that we are using are not going to bleach our skins, okay? All right, then now, having said that, what are the effects if a boy and a girl are not following these, okay? If a boy does not bath, if a girl does not bath, what are the effects in the society or at school, even our families, okay? So we'll wrap here, right? So it's very, very important for us to follow our hygiene tips. Okay. So one, we need to be very smart, okay? We need to be very smart as boys and girls. We need to be very smart so that we are acceptable in the community. In the community, it means the places that we are coming from. At school, at church, you should always be smart and smelling good. If you can't afford to buy some of these perfumes, you can even use very, very simple lotions, okay, so that your body is being enhanced, okay, because some of the people will be avoiding you whenever they see you. They'll be saying, that one has come. I don't want to be near that person. Why? Because of the very bad odor that you produce. So make sure, as a boy, as a girl, you make sure you take care of yourselves and follow these good tips of hygiene during puberty, okay? So we are going to end there today, boys and girls. We're looking at reproductive health. We've defined what puberty is. We've looked at the physical changes that occur in boys and girls during this stage. Okay, then again, went on, we looked at the good hygiene during puberty. What are the things that we are supposed to follow? And if we do not follow them, what are the things that are going to affect us? Okay, hope you've understood. And if you have any questions, you can ask us in the next segment that we are going to meet. But for today, we are going to end here. Thank you for listening, and God bless you. See you next time.
Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Moboyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools, Moboyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Mobuyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Mobuyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Mobuyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Mobuyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Miss Goma, teaching you Agriculture Science Grade 8. Okay, so before we start today's lesson, I've got an advert for you. GMF online school is operated by 3 Creso schools. Okay, so the letters GMF stands for, G stands for Gospel Outreach Christian Academy, GOCA. This school is found at Go Center in Lusaka near Movie TV. It is a day school that runs from baby class to grade 12. Then M stands for Mobuyo Christian Academy. The school is found on the banks of Lake Kariba. It is a girls' boarding school that runs from grade 8 to grade 12. Then we have the last letter, which is F, Fountain Christian Gate Academy. This school is found in Deke East in Silverest area of Chongwe district. It is a boarding and day school that runs from baby class to grade 12. You can enroll your child at any of the 3 schools depending on where you are. For more information, you can call on Goka, you call on 0962 76 8043. Then Mbuyu, you can call on 0977 85 28 40. Then Fountain Gate, you call on 0977 18 3757. Okay, thank you. So let's start today's lesson. And in today's lesson, we're going to talk about the factors that make a site suitable for growing trees. So before we start today's lesson, I gave you homework last week. Okay, I gave you homework last week. The questions were, the first question was to define the term forestry. To define the term forestry, and we define forestry to be a science or practice of planting, managing, caring of trees or forestry. Apart from that, the second question was explain the role of trees. Explain the role trees play in soil and water conservation. And we talked about the numbers of the importance of trees, so many factors. And some of the factors were: 1, trees have roots that bind the soil particles together, which reduces soil erosion. We also talked about trees, when they lose their leaves and branches, they fall to the ground and act as ground covers, where it reduces soil erosion. We also talked about the leaves and the branches, them rotting in the soil, they form humus, and we say humus improves the soil structure. Apart from that, we also say that trees act as wind breakers. There are so many factors that we gave under the importance of trees in soil management. And then the last question was to identify leguminous plants that are used to improve soil fertility. And these leguminous plants that we mentioned a number of them. We had acacia was one of them. Then we had Sesbania sesban as an example of leguminous trees. Then we also talked about moringa. Okay, so those are the trees that we mentioned. In today's lesson, we're going to look on the factors that make a site suitable for growing trees. Apart from the factors, we'll learn on 2 or 3 trees on how they are planted. What do you do to the trees before they are planted? Are we together, class? Okay, so what factors do you think they make a site suitable for growing trees? Okay, so the first factor, I'm going to give you 1, deep soil and fertile of the soil. Okay, so 1, we've got deep soil, deep and fertile soil. Okay, so the first point that we have there on the board, it's deep and fertile. So we need the soil to be deep enough because the roots of the trees penetrate into the ground. So for them to get the nutrients on the ground, the soil needs to be deep. Apart from that, the soil also needs to be fertile. Although trees can be grown in stony areas, they can be grown, but the soil should be fertile enough for them to grow well. Okay, so the first point that I have here, it's deep and fertile soil. Then the second point is that availability of land. Okay, so the second point is availability of land. Availability of land. What do I mean when I say availability of land? What do I mean when I say availability of land? Okay, you bear with me. When you want to grow trees, trees require a large space or a large land compared to crops. Are we together, class? So availability of land, I mean to say where you're supposed to grow your trees, the land should be very big enough. The land should be very big enough because it's different with the crops that we grow. When trees have grown, they spread enough. So they require a lot of land, okay? Apart from availability of land, the third one, we have availability of water. Availability of water. Okay. So where you're going to grow your trees, you need a lot of water. So for trees to grow, they also require water. If you do not have water, trees will end up drying up, and when they dry up, it is a loss to us because we know the importance of trees to us human beings and animals. Are we together, class? Okay, so we've talked about deep and fertile soil. We've talked about availability of the land, then availability of water. Any other factor that you think you need to look at before you grow your trees? Any other factor that you need to look at before you grow trees, apart from the 3 factors that I have put on the board, okay? So the 4th factor, where you're supposed to grow your trees, you need to have a shelter, okay? So the 4th one, you need a shelter. You need a shelter before you grow trees. Why are we saying so? Why are we saying that we need a shelter before growing trees? Okay, so we have a nursery where we put our seeds and we make sure the seeds germinate into seedlings, okay? So we need a shelter where there's a nursery because too much wind may destroy the seedlings. Are we together? So we're saying you need a shelter before you grow trees to avoid strong wind. To avoid what? Strong wind, because seedlings may die, okay? So we need a shelter to avoid strong winds. Okay? So we need a shelter to avoid strong winds because strong winds may destroy the trees in the nursery. Are we together, class? Any other point? The 5th one, can any other person give us the 5th point? Okay, so the 5th point is that where you are growing your trees, you should have no frost, okay? So where you're growing your trees, you should have no frost, okay? Where you're growing your trees, where you are growing your trees should be free from frost. Okay, so what is this frost? Because we're saying where we are supposed to grow trees, we should not have frost. Should be free from frost. What is this frost? Okay, F-R-O-S-T. What is it? Okay, so frost, it can either be water vapor. Okay, so frost is water vapor, or the thin layer that is found on the surface of plants or leaves when it is too cold. Okay, so frost can be water vapor or a thin layer or a thin ice layer that is found on the surface of plants or things. Are we together, class? So I'm saying frost is a thin ice layer found on the surface of plants or things. It can be thin ice layer found on the surface of the plants or things, or water vapor to make your life easier. Okay, so when you want to grow your plants, you make sure you do not grow them where there's frost. You grow them where there's no ice layer, because imagine you have a thin ice layer on your plants when they're still young. They'll do what? They'll die. Are we together, class? The last one, number 6, absence of seseflies. Okay, so when you want to grow trees, make sure you do not have seseflies there because they'll destroy your trees. Are we together, class? So I've given you 6 factors that make a site suitable for growing trees. The first one was deep and fertile soil. The second one, availability of land. The third one, availability of water. The fourth one, you need a shelter before trees are grown to avoid the strong winds, because when trees are still young, they may die because of that strong wind, okay? Then the fifth one, absence of flies. We do not need to grow trees in the presence of flies. So no diseases when you're growing those trees, okay? So now planting and sowing trees. When a tree is planted, so let's go to planting and sowing. Okay, so planting and sowing. So the question is when a tree is planted. So bear with me that the trees that grow fast and the trees that grow slow. Okay, so trees that grow fast, they are planted late October to early November. Okay, so trees that grow fast, are planted late October to early November. Okay, then what about if we're saying trees that grow fast are planted late October to early November? What about trees that grow slow? Okay, so trees that delay in growing, then they're planted in July, from July through September. So from July through September. Okay, so trees are grown in different seasons according to how they grow. If they grow slow, they'll be planted from July through September, meaning July, August, September, trees can be planted, those that grow slow. But trees that grow fast, they are planted late October to early November. Okay, so I have got 3 different types of trees and what should be done before they are planted. Okay. So 3 different types of trees. So this side is trees. This side is pre-treatment. So pre-treatment, what is supposed to be done before those trees are grown. Okay. So the first tree I have is Sesbania. Okay. So the first one is Sesbania. Okay, so the first tree that I have there is Sesban, because now we know that trees that grow fast, they are planted when? Late October to early November. Then trees that grow late or they delay in growing, then they are planted from July through September. So meaning July, August, September. So now when you look at this, I've got 3 different types of trees. I've got Sesbania. So what is supposed to be done to this seed before it is planted? Okay. Then the next tree that I have is Moringa. So what is supposed to be done before Moringa is planted, which is pre-treatment. The third one I have is Mukwa. Okay. So let's start with Sesban. What is supposed to be done before these seeds are planted? Okay, so pre-treatment, it means what is supposed to be done before it is planted. So Sesban is put in hot water overnight. Are we together? It is put where? In hot water overnight. Then in the morning, the next day, it is planted. So that's what they do to Sesban. Okay, so put it in hot water. Put it in hot water overnight. Are we together? Overnight. Then the next day, you plant it. Are we together, class? So sesbania, before you plant its seeds, you need to put it in hot water overnight. Then the next day, you do what? You plant it. What about moringa and mukwa? What is it supposed to be done before they are planted? Let's go to moringa. So before you plant moringa, you soak it in cool water overnight. You do what? You soak it in cool water overnight. So moringa, you soak it in cool water overnight, then plant it the next day. Okay? So the difference between sesbania, and moringa, sesbania, you're putting it in hot water overnight. Then moringa, you're putting it in cool water, or you soak it overnight in cool water. Are we together? Then the next day you do what? You plant it. What about the last tree that I have, which is mukwa? What do you do with mukwa? Okay, so mukwa, what is done is you scratch the seeds. Okay, so after scratching, not scratching completely that the seeds are even broken. No. So you scratch the seeds a bit lighter. Scratch the seed a bit lighter. After scratching the seeds a bit lighter, you soak in cool water. Then you plant the following day. Out together. So this one needs to be scratched. It needs to be scratched. Then put in cool water, just like moringa, overnight. Okay, so I've just given you on the few trees, which is sesbania, moringa, and mukwa. So the sesbania is put in hot water overnight, and the next day it's planted. The moringa, it is soaked in cool water, and then the next day it is also planted. But the mukwa, before you soak it in cool water, you do what? You scratch it a bit lighter. After scratching it, that's when you do what? You soak it in water the whole night, then plant it the next day. Okay, so how do you plant these seeds, or why do you plant these seeds? Okay, imagine you've done the pre-treatment, you've treated the seeds before they are planted. So whatever I'm from telling you, like you put the sesbania in hot water, that's its pre-treatment. What are you doing before planting? So there are rules you do before planting these seeds. Okay, so after this has been done, the putting in water the whole night, soaking it in hot water the whole night, the scratching of the mukwa, how do you grow it? Where do you grow these seeds? Okay, so these seeds are grown in containers. Okay, so the seeds are grown in, okay, you make holes and fill it with the topsoil. And we know what the topsoil is. It is a set of nutrients, okay? It's the one that you're going to put in that container where you want to plant these seeds, okay? So you make holes, you put the topsoil there, and make sure in each container you put how many seeds? 3 seeds, 2 or 3 seeds, okay? You can either put 2 seeds or you can either put 3 seeds, but not more than 3 and not less than 1, okay? So you put either 2 to 3 seeds. 1 is okay, 2 is okay, 3 is okay. So in a container, you might put 2 seeds if you want. If not 2 seeds, you can put 3 seeds, but not more than 3 seeds, because we need space in that container, and we do not want those trees to be a lot, the seeds to be a lot, because when they start growing, they'll start doing what? Fighting for nutrients. Are we together? So the seeds are grown in containers, and in the containers you make holes, okay? And then you put the soil in there, then you grow your seeds and water in that container. But are you supposed to leave the container without checking up on it? No. We need to care for those seeds. We need to do what? To care for those seeds. So how do you care for those seeds? How do you care for those seeds? Okay? So on how you care for those seeds is by 1, make sure you water them every day in the nursery where they are put. Okay? So make sure you water them every day in the nursery where they're put. Apart from watering, make sure you remove weeds frequently, okay? And we know that a weed is an unwanted plant. It grows where it is not needed, okay? So the care of these seeds water them every day. Water them every day. Every day. Then remove weeds frequently. Remove weeds. Remove weeds most of the times, or frequently, most of the times, or frequently. Okay, and make sure you turn the containers to avoid the stains coming out from the holes that you created when you are planting those seeds. Okay, so that's how we care for them. Make sure you water them. Make sure if there are weeds, you remove them, because you know what weeds do to plants or trees. They'll start fighting for nutrients, space, light, and water. So for us to avoid that, we remove them. So they just leave seedlings there. Are we together, class? Okay, so I think this is what I had for you today. The factors that make a site suitable for growing vegetables. Will have no problems about those factors because we've mentioned them. The deep and fertile soil, availability of land, availability of water. You need a shelter to avoid strong winds, and you need to grow your trees where there are no diseases like seseflies, and you need to grow your trees where there's no frost. And we've said frost, this is a thin ice layer that is found on surfaces of the plants when it is too cold in the morning. Okay, if you do not want to define a frost in that way, you can also say frost is water vapor. Okay, then we've also learned something to say the trees that grow faster and the trees that grow slow. The faster trees that are planted in late October to early November. Then those that grow or delay in growing, they are planted from July through September. I've given you examples of trees and what is done before they are planted. You say sesban, you put it in hot water overnight, then you plant it the next day. We've talked about moringa, soaking it in cool water overnight and plant it the next day. Just the same with mukwa, but mukwa needs to be scratched a bit lighter before it is put in or soaked in water before it's planted the next day. Then we've said that seeds are grown in containers, and those containers holes are made and put soil in it, and then you plant the seeds. And the only number of seeds you can put there, it can be 1 seed, 2 seeds, or 3, but not above 3, because we do not want a lot of seeds in one container. They will not have space as they germinate. Okay, then we've said you water them every day. That's how you care about these seeds, because if you do not water them, they will not germinate. Okay, so for seeds to germinate, they need to be watered. As they germinate into seedlings, we know that weeds, they'll be there, so you remove weeds, and we say that weeds are unwanted plants. Okay, so this is where we end, and this is where our topic forestry ends. The next time we're here, we'll start a new topic, which is conservation farming. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently enrolling from grade 1 to grade 12 at our boarding schools. Moboyo Christian Academy in Siavonga and Fountain Gates Academy in Chongwe, and at our legendary Gospel Outreach Christian Academy in Lusaka. Breaking the cycle of underachievement does not happen by accident. It requires an environment that provides a high level of challenge matched with a high level of support. You cannot achieve that in an overcrowded environment. Creso schools are established on strong Christian moral principles. Creso schools offer excellent education services from preschool to senior secondary schools. Creso schools combines rigorous academics with a fun and highly supportive learning environment and has been supporting students and families for over 17 years. At Creso schools, we want to push open the doors into your world of success. We are currently